All right, welcome to Multiple Streams of Revenue for Photographers Workshop. I'm your host, Julie Getzinger, and I'm really excited to share with you some different ways that you can bring in revenue into your photography business. As a creative, we like to play in different things and have multiple projects going on. Some of them will be photography focused and some of them may not be. You may be called to write a book or host a podcast or a summit, a retreat, things like that that help you step more into leadership and have a bigger impact and make more money. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so you can see the slides as I share them. And if you're attending live, you're welcome to ask questions in the chat as they come up. And if you are watching this on the replay, you're welcome to email me, julie@juliegetzinger.com, with questions, or just go to my website and you can book a call with me to learn more about what I'm sharing today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. At the end of this workshop, I am going to be doing a live Q&A. So any questions that you've been wondering about hosting retreats or doing online programs, hosting workshops, writing a book, any of the things that we talk about today, you're welcome to ask me live. And again, if you're not watching this live, you can reach out to me. You can email me and just go to my website, juliegetzinger.com, and we can talk more about what's shared. There will be a special offer for people who watch through to the end of the workshop, who participate. There is going to be a special offer if you feel called to work deeper with me to learn how to implement some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. And who is this workshop for? This is for a photography business owner who has a desire to add monthly recurring revenue to their business, is curious about hosting retreats or offering online coaching programs, wants to step more into leadership as they grow their communities, wants more time freedom, and wants more financial freedom. So if those things sound good to you, you can say a yes in the chat or a hell yes. If that is you, if that is not you, you're welcome to peace out. No. If you're like, how did I get here? I don't want any of those things. You can leave now. Yes, Jessica said 100%. Sonia said absolutely. Yay. And if you're not on mute, you can go ahead and mute yourself as you come on so people don't hear background noises here. It's so funny. I used to be an elementary school teacher, and I'm like, I can't imagine teaching like on Zoom all the time, and the students wouldn't have their cameras on. You have no idea what they're doing in the background, but the other part is like it's nice because you could mute them, because when you're a classroom teacher, like it gets very loud. So I've had both thoughts, but for the sake of Zoom, and we are all adults here, we can mute ourselves so we don't hear the background noises. Okay, moving on. Okay, we like to start with why. Why do we do what we do? We can get really lost in the business of what we do and lose inspiration, lose motivation, feel just kind of blah. So it's really important that we always come back to why are we doing this? And I recently found out that my ancestor is Matthew Brady, who was Abraham Lincoln's photographer. And he photographed 16 American presidents. Don't ask me how, because I'm like, that would take a really long time to be, photographing each of those presidents. But that's what it says in the history book, so I believe it. But he ended up going bankrupt at the end of his career, which was pretty devastating because of how renowned he was as a photographer and the important contribution he made to our industry and history by capturing these famous political figures, actors, very influential people of his time. And he was not compensated for it in the end. He did make money. He opened up, I think he had 3 studios. But at the end, he invested a lot of time into a Civil War project. And he was not paid appropriately for his work, and they changed their mind. and said, we think that the American public's ready to move on. We're not going to purchase these images. And this was after he had completed this project. So one of my whys is to right this wrong in my family of not being compensated for our art, our energy, our time, our expertise. And also because I believe art is very important, and we are documenters. We celebrate humanity. I mean, what we do is very important. We uplift people's self-esteem, their self-confidence. We give them more excitement and vitality. And what we do is very important. So I believe that we should be well compensated for it, and not just in the form of money, but also appreciation, valued. And if we want to do this full time, we absolutely can have a very successful photography career full time. And we can expand on that and step more into leadership by helping other photographers, or by helping our photography clients more with things like self-love and self-esteem. Jessica said that's super cool. He was like the early Annie, I can't pronounce her name. Yes, Lebedovitz. I'm not sure how to say her name. Yeah, like ultimate historian, documenter. I live in Washington, D.C. myself, and I was able to find a lot of his photographs here in the National Archives and in the Library of Congress, the Portrait Gallery. And it was really fun getting to go on like this scavenger hunt and learning more about him. I also saw where he's buried at the cemetery, and really powerful. I tried to communicate it with him telepathically because I'm a medium as well. And I was like, what do you want to tell me? And it was radio silence. So I was like, hello, I'm a medium, like you can tell me anything. And he just wasn't talking. So I didn't hear any messages at his grave. But I tried, and maybe he was busy, and will get back to me later or something. All right, who am I besides a little crazy? I am a portrait photography business owner specializing in boudoir and also high school senior portraits. I made over $100,000 using the retreat model that I'm going to share with you today in my first 7 months of implementing it. And I was introduced to this during COVID. My coach, Michelle Villalobos, appeared to me. And I, at the time, couldn't do in-person photography because it was right after the shutdown. And she was hosting retreats online. And she was a speaker. She is a speaker, an author, coach. And she said, you can do this all online and make really great money. And it's really rewarding because we help people to transform their lives. So I signed up for her program, and I implemented everything she taught me. And now I'm teaching other people how to do the same thing because it's really rewarding work. It's fun. You get to travel if you do it in person. And the money is amazing. So it's something that I'm teaching other people how to do. I'm also the international best-selling author of Free to Fly, Manifest the Life of Your Dreams. And I wrote this book during COVID as well. I was busy during COVID. I also got divorced. I did a lot during COVID. But I became this author of the book because I wanted to document my journey of how I was able to step more into myself as a psychic medium, as an artist, not to shy away from who I am anymore, not to fear judgment. I did face a lot of judgment the first time I came out to my family as a boudoir photographer. I received a lot of criticism, a lot of, that's weird, why would you want to do that? And that was the first part of it. And then I told them that I can talk to dead people. And then it got a lot crazier, and my family was like, what the hell are you doing? But my soul likes to do things that are different, and it just is. And my story, my book is about myself discovering more of myself, and then the reward and the thanks that the universe gave me for saying yes to that path was a lot of satisfaction, abundance in the form of money, more fun, more freedom. So that's what my book's about. I've hosted 7 retreats, domestic and international. I've done them virtually, and I've also done them in person in California and in Costa Rica. I'm the host of Absolutely Abundant, a podcast for soul line creatives, and Unleash Your Abundance Summit. And then a little bit about my story. I shared earlier that I did go through a divorce last year. Yeah, last year it was finalized. Was with my partner for 22 years. Love of my life. We have two beautiful children, and my our soul contract was complete in that sense of being together. And I was guided spiritually to leave and to start a new journey solo. And that was when I went through a big spiritual awakening process, and I had a lot of messages come in from the divine and clarity around my mission and purpose, which at that time in my life was meant to be in solitude. So I did explore that, and I am now coming out again and opening back up to new relationships and new experiences, travel, all those things. But I do have two beautiful children pictured there, my daughter and my son, who are also on a spiritual path and are very in tune as well and give me amazing guidance. But my story is that I am an artist. I am a psychic medium. I'm a creator. I'm a divine, messenger, and yeah, I that's me. That's all I do say. Okay, so the problem that I was facing in business was that I was always trading my time for money. I was doing photo shoots, mostly one-on-one, one high school senior or one woman for boudoir. And it's very physical work, as as a photographer, there's a lot of steps to it. And having gotten back into the industry recently myself, I was like, oh, wow, I forgot about all these tasks that are involved. It's not just the photo shoot, obviously. And if you do in-person sales, there's a lot more to it. You can make more money. And there's a lot of steps and a lot of physical things we need to do to complete the whole process for our photography clients. And then when I transitioned into coaching and doing intuitive readings, again, it was one person at a time, one person over the phone, or one person that I was coaching, one-on-one coaching. And I saw that if I was sick, there was no money coming in. If I just felt down and out, there was no money coming in. Like, I was feeling low because I was always felt like I had to have my physical presence there or I wouldn't be making money. So I was afraid to take time off. I was afraid of getting sick. When I became a single mom, if I had my children, there was no money coming in. And then my solution became, how can I leverage my time more? And I landed on this group model of coaching, people together in a retreat or doing online programs, writing my book, doing things that would continue to have a return on my investment well past me completing them. So like the online courses, the book, the workbook, things that I've built, different systems that I've built. I have about 6 funnels going right now with lead magnets to attract my ideal clients. And then they get sent through a whole funnel. And that is what leads to online sales, that leads to book sales, that leads to new coaching clients. So I've set up a lot of different streams now. So it doesn't always involve me, especially one-on-one. It's much more productive to serve many at a time. That being said, I still love one-on-one work too. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to charge accordingly. I'm going to have higher prices for one-on-one because that's me, and it's customized, and it's anything that one person needs. I still do it, but I do less of it, and I have higher prices for those things. And this is an example of one of my group programs. This is this was an abundance breakthrough retreat. So I do these virtually and in person. This was one of the virtual retreats. So I was able to serve these women all at the same time, and they all had a common goal of wanting to break through any barriers to abundance. They wanted to welcome in more money. They wanted to clean up their mindset. So that was what we focused on for this retreat. And this is an example of being all together in person. I love being in person, and it's equally powerful being in person or virtually. And my results were very similar with in-person or virtual as far as people signing up for another program, investing more, saying yes to continuing the journey with us. But I think it's really fun to be in person. So my retreats now are in person unless something changes again with the pandemic or something happens. From right now, as of right now, I am doing them in person. And then with a retreat, there's all different ways that people think about, the word retreat. Really, the word retreat just means to, take a step back or go within or to take a break from your, regular routine, your regular life. And, we have spiritual retreats. There could be personal development retreats, business retreats, whatever kind of retreat you choose to run. It's important that you choose something that has a specific outcome, and then the way that I've been able to invite monthly reoccurring income is through a year-long mastermind program after the retreat. So it's a 3-day immersive experience that we call the retreat to have a very specific outcome. And then we invite to a year-long program. And the way we earn the monthly recurring income is because people will pay every month for a year. Some people choose to pay in full and get a slight discount if they pay in full. And then most people choose the payment plan. So that means I know that I'm making, at the time it was $1,100 a month. So I knew that these 15 people would be paying me $1,100 every month for a whole year, which as a creative gave me a lot of peace of mind, so that I was open to do things like write a book and host a summit and host a podcast. I could do other creative projects because I knew I had this monthly reoccurring income coming in. And then since I've hosted 7 retreats now, I've definitely learned a lot of lessons. And some secrets I learned the hard way was that it's super important to get clear on your target audience. I am now really focused on photographers. I know the industry. I understand the creative mind. I know the struggles and the challenges. I'm in it. I'm in the trenches with you. So I focus on helping photographers to have multiple streams of income and to set up their own retreats or set up their own coaching programs. When you don't have a clear target audience, the messaging is very hard to do with marketing. And also once you have that group and you don't have a common destination, it can get really confusing and kind of watered down. So I've learned to get clear on my target audience, which I definitely recommend doing. The other thing is setting work and personal life boundaries. I seem to attract a lot of overachievers. I am a self-proclaimed overachiever. I like to do a lot. I like to be busy. I like to make money. And I also desire a personal life. So I have since done a lot of work around carving out more time for myself and for family and downtime, which is something that I teach in my programs as well, is really taking care of yourself first, loving yourself, honoring yourself, meditation, journaling, connecting with nature, connecting with family, like helping people to really get into that, because I learned the pain of not doing that, which leads to burnout, and we don't want that. So that's something I've learned that I help my clients with as well. Also, mindset is everything. So what we think is true is true. So if you think it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. If you think it can work for you, it can work for you. Everything, whatever you think is possible is what's possible for you. If you're open to expanding and for the universe surprising and delighting you, that's going to be your reality. But if you're fearful and think that this works for everybody but me, it's not going to work for you. So the people that I choose to work with, I call them hell yeses. They know that this is something that's calling them, and they believe that it's possible. And it's not like on me to solve it for them, to tell them what to do. It's co-creation. It's us together coming up with something that works really well for them and making it custom to them and their business, their personality, their strengths, and not having it be like the magic bullet. There is no magic bullet. Everything is what you put into it. So if you decide to invest a lot of time into doing something like a retreat or writing a book, you're going to be successful if you put your care and love and energy into it and you believe that you can be successful. So mindset is really important. Also, I had to learn what it takes to be a strong leader. to be a leader is to put yourself up for scrutiny, to put yourself up to be judged. And it's in the coaching world, we're all about non-judgment, like everyone's perfect. And same thing in photography. Everyone's beautiful, everyone, and the truth is when you allow yourself to be more visible, it also invites more criticism from others and more self-doubt as well. Because the higher you go, the more you attract, the more the voices can get louder and say, like, who the hell do you think you are? Sit down. You don't need that much money. Like, we don't need one more coach. We don't need one more retreat. Like, look, her pictures are better than yours. Like, those voices do get louder as you step more and more into your highest potential. So just knowing that and knowing that that means that you're doing it, that you're on the right track. The louder the fears and the louder the like internal discomfort, the bigger the breakthrough. So, we walk into that rather than shy away from that. And just to share some results from doing a retreat model, if this is something that you think you might want to do, is so for my own results, I had 5 people attend my first retreat. It was virtual because it was during COVID. And then 4 out of 5 people joined my year-long mastermind program, which is called Free to Fly, bringing in the monthly reoccurring income. So the cost of my retreat at that time was $2,500. And then the year-long program was $16,000. So people could pay me $1,600 every month, or they could pay. They got a discount if they paid in full. I think it was $14,000 if they paid in full. I gave them like a $2,000 discount. Oh my gosh, you have the same bird tattoo? No, that's awesome. And she got it after her divorce. Oh, that's so cool. I was like, how did you see my tattoo? It's in my picture. I have 4 birds, which is so interesting because I had 1 and then I added 3 more. And it was right before my divorce. So I think it was a premonition. And my program's called Free to Fly. And so is my book. And this was my first tattoo, my camera. You can see. So I have a camera with 1111. 11, they're angel numbers that mean perfect alignment in my mind. And when I was with my camera was the first time I ever felt truly aligned. It was the first time I was completely in the flow, one with the universe, like no separateness, like it was like divine. And still is. So that's what this tattoo is for. Oh, that's so cool. Jessica said, I've been seeing 111 and 11. Oh, so good. I know, it's so fun. So ones are all about new beginnings. It's alignment. It means you're right on track. And new beginnings, also like fresh start. I think of it as fresh slate, fresh start. Like, like here we go. It's a new cycle is what I think of. I've been seeing them all the time as well. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so by doing retreats, especially retreats in my mastermind program, I was able to leverage my time and stabilize my income. And like I shared before, once my income was stabilized, then I was open up to do more projects like my book and my podcast and things I'd been wanting to do, and travel. I did a ton of travel. And that happened when I was able to have that monthly reoccurring income, and I wasn't always chasing the next one client. And then the mastermind, so you can do this a million different ways, and this is something we get into at my Abundance Breakthrough Retreat, is mapping out something that works well for you. For my mastermind program, I do an online program, and we meet twice a month for a year. So they get group coaching. We all meet together. We talk about our retreats. We talk about our programs, mastermind together. And then we also do inner work, personal development work. I am an intuitive, so I give intuitive guidance. And then they get one-on-one time with me every month as well. So that's how I do my mastermind program. And the results from this is deeper, more meaningful relationships. Our group gets really bonded, really tight because we meet, every month for a year. And they get really tight with each other. So it's not just me. It's not like them turning to me as their teacher and their guide, their expert, whatever. Like, it's our community. So the power is in the community. and the friendships, the bonds formed in the community, and people start reaching out to each other to support each other and help each other through things I haven't even been through. So it's all about the community support. And then another perk, of course, for business is monthly reoccurring revenue. It takes the pressure off of finding new clients each month. There's more breakthroughs. If you do one-on-one coaching, it's kind of like therapy in that I don't know if you've ever worked with a one-on-one coach. We're not supposed to tell you what to do. It's inviting you to discover for yourself. It's like therapy. Like they don't tell you, well, they're not supposed to tell you what to do. It's about you discovering your own truth and feeling like you're safe to share in a space that's non-judgmental, and that we hold space and love for you to do the healing work yourself. And we are the witness to that. But when you do a group coaching program, there's a whole group, and when others share, other people will be triggered, other people will have breakthroughs and revelations that are even more than if it was just the two of us meeting. So there's more breakthroughs, there's friendships created, and there is that community culture. And then one of the questions I get a lot is, how do you get people to enroll in your retreat? So once you decide, where you want to go, if you want to do it somewhere close to you to cut down on expenses to make it easier on you, which I do recommend in the beginning, or you want to do it virtual, or you want to travel to some exotic place, the way that you initially enroll people, in my experience, is to reach out to people that you already have a connection with, that you feel could genuinely benefit from exactly the outcomes that you're delivering. So for me, my retreats now are about other people who want to build retreats, who want to build coaching programs, who want to have multiple streams of revenue. So if I know someone who has those goals in mind and I do not reach out to them, that is doing them a disservice. It's not about me and making more money and having more people at my retreat. It's about me knowing that what I have to offer is of great value to this particular person, and then having the confidence to make that invitation. And we call it inviting to a meaningful conversation. It's just like photography. If somebody reaches out and says, how much is a photo shoot? Hopefully you don't just send them like an email with a price, because they're customized. It's an experience. It's a luxury experience. So we want to get them on the phone. And if you don't like being on the phone, you need to get over that, and you need to do it anyway, because connection happens through voice, through sound. I don't do them over Zoom. I feel like that's a little, this is personal preference, but I feel like that's a little too intimate for someone that you've never met to like do a Zoom call right away. I don't know. I just don't do that. I would rather do a phone call first to kind of ease them into, my personality, or do our energies match? And you can tell quickly if they do or don't. And I also have a phone script that I share at my retreat to guide people through, what do you say, what do you ask when you are walking someone through the process of possibly enrolling them into a retreat. But you always want to invite them to a meaningful conversation. And it's all about, again, tuning into, will this benefit this person? Will they show up fully? Will they be coachable? Will they be someone that I would want to work with for a year? Because with the retreat model, if you invite them to a year-long program afterwards, you don't want to be working with someone for a year who's not willing or open, or a good student, or someone that you want to be with. Like, it has to be someone that you enjoy being with, that you feel like you can co-create with, rather than just someone who has the money to pay you. Jessica said, what if I want to specifically do boudoir retreats where people get a photo shoot included? I think that's amazing. So that would be, tailor it towards self-love, self-esteem, things like that. And there is a million different ways we can do this, and it can look different depending on your specific goals. But I do have boudoir clients who've done exactly that, boudoir photographer clients. So, and I'm going to share more in this presentation, those cases exactly. But like one of them, she actually just got certified in sex coaching, and she's now hosting retreats for women and body image. And then I have another client who is doing self-love coaching, and she stepped more into like transformational coaching. And in the coaching industry, you do not need to have a specific certification Some people like to do that. They want to do a program. They want to do an intensive program. Other people like me have hired private coaches and have been trained privately. And that's what I do with my clients. I train them through my programs based on what I've learned from my own coach. I've had a coach for 3 years myself, a private coach, and she's doing the exact same model, gave me permission to teach others how to do this same model. So I experienced it all myself first, which gave me the wisdom and the confidence to be able to teach it to others. But if you want to do, photo shoots as part of it, awesome. Like this, there's no limit to what you can do. Like have fun with it, be creative with it. I added in headshots because, what entrepreneur doesn't want headshots? But you can do whatever you want and then think about an outcome that would make sense for what's next, because people will want to work with you more. It does them a disservice by giving them this amazing experience and then it's just done. And I felt that in photography when I was doing, boudoir, and women would share their stories of trauma with me, and I would be deeply moved and feel connected to these women. And then they just be on their way. And I felt the call to be more of a coach, to guide them. And at the time, I wasn't experienced in, trauma therapy or anything like that. Now, and I'm not, a psychotherapist, I'm not a trained therapist, but people come to me with trauma all the time. And I've just accepted that it is one of my God-given talents to hold space for people. And I always say to people, like, there's nothing you can say that will shock or terrify me. Like, I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, I hold a lot of space for people. So if you've been through something that you've never told anyone else about, I am a safe person who will listen deeply. And that's something that happens as part of my mastermind program that I did not plan for. It just kind of unfolded, and I stopped having that story of, I can't handle this is too much, this is too emotional. And I started to see it as a gift and an honor that people trust me so deeply. And I know that it's something I'm meant to do, whether if I have a certification in it or not. I am she who listens. I am she who guides and is compassionate, and that's just my truth. So, but it can look any million different variations of ways. And I'm happy to talk with you more about it to see what else is possible. The other thing is to have people enroll, choosing marketing activities that are fun. I just talked to a photographer yesterday at one of our PPA events, and she's new to photography business. Not a new photographer. She used to work for a company, but now she's starting a business, and she's like, I need to learn keywords. I need to learn Facebook ads. And I was like, okay, slow down. Like, she was like wanting to learn, as she thought she needed to learn all these things. That was what she was saying. And what I said to her was, what do you like to do? Like, what is the most fun for you? Start there. Do that, because energy precedes outcomes. If you're doing something because you think it'll get results, like someone told you you need to post 30 times a day in your Facebook group, can that work? Absolutely. Have people had success with that? Absolutely. Is that going to work for you? Not necessarily. Why? Because if it's not fun and you hate it and you loathe being there, people feel that energy. So it's tuning into what feels fun for me to do, and then fully immersing yourself in that and repurposing that. An example for me is speaking. I love making videos. I like to speak. I like to teach. I like to share. And so my primary focus right now for marketing is my podcast. I get to speak. I get to be live on video. It's just me, and I can talk all day by myself. It's just something I like to do. And I just record that. I send it off to my VA team. They chop up the video. They make social media posts for me. They transcribe it. We put it in my blog. We put it in my email. We have a whole system now that is leveraging my superstar power, which is in speaking, which is being on video. So making marketing fun is about choosing something that you like to do naturally, that matches your personality, and is not something that you're told works. Because just because it works for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And if you keep doing things that aren't working, that don't feel good, you're going to repel the clients. And we want to make it fun to attract the clients. The intuitive sales process, so I talked a little bit about this before, but this is just something I term my process when people call me, when they set up a call to learn more about my programs, that I tune in intuitively to the person. And we all have this power. You don't have to be a self-proclaimed medium or intuitive. It's listening to people, deeply listening to people and what they're asking for. And if what they're asking for is a match to what you have to offer, making that invitation from a place of confidence. I mean, that's like sales one-on-one, like making the invitation from a place of confidence because you believe that what you have to offer them is going to greatly benefit them. Taking it away from, I want this person to sign up. My emotions are tied to whether they give me a yes or a no, whether they pay me or not. It's about completely detaching from that outcome, deeply listening to the person on the other end of the phone, having a meaningful conversation. And if it's not a match, there is no offer. Just like with photography, if someone is asking for things that you're not comfortable doing, or it's just not what you do, you don't have the equipment for it, you don't have the space for it, it's not something you want to do, doesn't feel aligned to you, it would do the client a disservice by saying yes. So it serves them better by referring them somewhere else or being honest and saying, I love your vision, but that's just not what I offer. I really hope that, maybe this person can help you, or, referring to other people. People love that. If you don't have someone to refer to, just wish them well and send them on their way. The intuitive sales is all about tuning into the person, what they're asking for, what their vision is, rather than imposing yours upon them. And this also works for, networking events. Asking people what they want, what they're looking for, where are they in their business, or whatever you're looking to attract people for. Ask them questions. People love to talk about themselves. And refrain from, just like vomiting on them, like all the things that you can do that you can help them with. Like what do they need? Where are they in their business, in their career, in their life? Like what's going on in their life? And listen. And if there is something you can help them with, you owe it to them to make the offer. So it's not about thinking that you're coming off selling them or pushing something. You do them a disservice by not telling them that you're a photographer, or not telling them that you can help them with this personal thing that you've already overcome. And this doesn't just go for business. Like if someone's going through something personal you've already been through, like divorce or the loss of a loved one, if you've been through that, of course you're going to want to help somebody else who's going through that now. It's the same thing in business. If you've already been through it and you can help them, make the offer. And that also, that is like why, you might want to start a coaching business if you haven't yet. If people are asking you for more, they're asking you for more guidance. That's how you're being called to a coach, is when people naturally turn to you for leadership. They turn to you for guidance. They ask you your opinion a lot. This goes for friends, families, clients. It's because that is a role that you naturally fall into. So why not, create a business around it? That's kind of what happened to me, is that people just came to me naturally and started sharing things about their lives. And then I realized like, oh, wow, I can really help them because I've already been through that and I want to help them. So, all right, let's move on to some case studies of people who have done, the retreats and added coaching to their photography businesses. So first up, we have Taylor Shawley here. Before Taylor took Money Intensive and the Abundance Breakthrough programs, that's my retreat, she wrote in her journal that she would like to have a $25,000 month. She ended the month at nearly $37,000, the highest month ever in her business. And she said that it felt easy and she didn't feel overwhelmed or overworked. Taylor graduated from our Free to Fly program, that's our year-long program, and is now studying to become a certified sex coach and is hosting her own self-love retreats and online coaching programs. She's also stepped into her spotlight and makes all kinds of cool videos and reels on Instagram, is completely like free now. Like she is just like freely, openly expresses herself. and she's all about body positivity. She shows herself in her bathing suit and, full, just in her full glory. And she is a leader because she steps out and shows herself and allows herself to be visible. So she's encouraging other women to do the same and to not shame their bodies or anything about themselves. And then we have Kira Jones. Kira is also a boudoir photographer. She ended up bringing in $45,000 in 40 days while taking our money intensive and abundance breakthrough programs. She is now successfully hosting online self-love programs for her boudoir portrait clients, which have allowed her more time to be home with her new baby girl. And she shared a story with our group that she actually got COVID and was down and out, couldn't work, couldn't do anything. And she said that was one of her highest paid months because she had all these payment plans set up and because she had an online coaching program that people continued to sign up for while she was sick. And she said she thinks that happened because she needed to prove to herself that you don't need to work hard to make money, that the money can still flow in. And when we get out of the way and allow ourselves to rest or recover if we're sick or, going through something emotionally, then the universe is happy to provide for us. So yeah, she's amazing. And then we have Devaney. When Devaney signed up for our money intensive and abundance breakthrough programs, her goal was originally to make $6,000 in the next 30 days. Through our coaching program, she made over $13,000 that month. She shared, "Julie is inspirational, truly intuitive, and a lifesaver. She helped me, healed me, and gave me tools I will forever use in my life and business." She's also the busy mom of 4 little ones. Busy mama. All right. Questions? You're welcome to ask questions in the chat. I know I've been talking a lot. Okay, so when we are marketing our retreat or our online program or whatever you are looking to sell, you want to let people know what are the outcomes going to be from this experience. So we say we don't sell the medicine. The medicine is how we do it. We sell the outcomes. What will I get after I participate in this experience? Same thing with photography. On the very first phone call, you walk them through the experience. This is how you're going to feel. And that's key, how you're going to feel, not what are we going to do. You can share what are we going to do to alleviate nerves, things like that, what to expect. But the key thing is you want them to feel amazing. So it's the same thing when you're, marketing a retreat or an online program. You want to have some kind of tangible outcomes. This could be like more money or your photos, whatever you're going to give them tangibly, they have something to leave with. Personal development. You could offer a group masterminding like I do. Business breakthroughs, a clear action plan. So you could have a combination of these things as part of your program, or you could really focus on one thing. You could really focus on business breakthrough, personal development. You could zone in on few things, or you could have a hybrid of these multiple options here. And then we talked about this before. Sell the outcomes, what they will leave with, not the medicine, the how. Okay. Some retreat possibilities as far as money goes. So if you want to do retreats, you could do potentially 1 immersion per season. So that would be 4 retreats per year. If you enrolled 5 people in each retreat, that would give you 20 participants. If the cost was about $2,500 for the retreat, that would bring you $80,000 up front. Typically, about 30% will enroll in your mastermind program. A cost could be around $12,000 for a year-long program, which would bring in an additional $72,000. And so the total revenue could be $152,000. This is an example of what's possible if you follow this retreat model. And then as far as I did implement this model, and these were my actual results. So in the first 7 months that I launched this model, so when I first announced that I'm hosting retreats now, I had 20 people enroll, and I hosted 3 retreats that year. It was $2,200 for each retreat, which brought me $44,000. 9 people enrolled in my free to fly mastermind program at $1,100 a month for the year. So it was $118,800, bringing total revenues to $162,800. And this was from retreats and my mastermind program alone. I also did one-on-one coaching clients who enrolled at $5,000 to $10,000 each. And I typically had 2 of those clients each month. And then I wrote my book, then I started my podcast, and then I hosted a summit. So I had time to do more projects. And I did, full disclosure, I did get really busy, and I didn't think I had time to do photography anymore, in all honesty, because I had the mastermind program is a big commitment, especially if you're doing emotional work with people, holding space for people for self-esteem, things like mindset can be very emotional, and it does take energy to focus to help people heal things. And now I've gotten back into photography, and photography to me now is my creative outlet. And I still do in-person sales, but I limit how many shoots I do a month. I do about 2 photo shoots per month. And it's something that actually frees me up, and my energy is looser when I do it because I love it. So you can do both, but wherever your energy goes and your focus flows where energy, what's the saying? Energy flows where focus goes. So whatever you choose to focus on is going to grow. All right, so what we've covered so far is the retreat business model, the benefits of having a year-long mastermind program, the intuitive sales process, how to make your marketing more fun. We did some case studies, talked about some people who've gone through this, and possible revenue opportunities. And then what we have not covered that we will go into more in depth with at my retreat is how to lead, deliver your online program or retreat, how to overcome fears around stepping more into leadership. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, I'm not a coach, I'm not a leader, I'm not intuitive. And I'm like, oh yeah, yes you are. And I will say everyone who's drawn to me is they leave me very intuitive and like, oh my gosh, I have all these gifts I didn't know. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't be attracted to me if you weren't intuitive and you weren't a coach, you weren't a leader, you weren't someone who was meant to have a bigger impact. You would not want to be around me because I help people see their highest potential. That's what I do. I shine a light on their potential, and I encourage them to step more into it, to face those fears and go right towards it, which often means walking right into the fire. I do it myself in my own life, in my own business, and I encourage others to do that too. And so that's a big one, is to overcome those fears, to step more into leadership. And I told myself for a long time that I did not see myself as a leader. I really struggled with that title. And now I accept that I am a leader. How to create a plan for implementation and marketing. So this is for your specific program that you want to roll out. I will help you at the retreat to set it all up, pricing, marketing, what to say on the phone to people, all those things. And then how to increase your credibility, and by doing things like writing a book, hosting a podcast, hosting a YouTube channel, just picking something that feels good to you, that shows that you are a leader. Writing a book is a great way to gain credibility. And I have lots of contacts for the book writing process because I just went through it last year. Hosting a podcast, I also know people who can help you with that. And a YouTube channel, anyone can host a YouTube channel. It's an easy place to start if you haven't done anything like that. It's very easy. So those are some ideas, and we'll talk more about that at my retreat too. All right, so in a moment, we're going to open up to the Q&A section. But first, if you would like my help, we're going to talk about what that could look like. Okay, so my Abundance Breakthrough Retreat is your business plan for financial freedom. So this is when we will map out your entire program together, and I will also help to hold you accountable for doing those action steps. We write a 90-day plan together, which is a 90-day implementation plan with marketing. Before you leave my retreat, I want all the prices to be solid, And we all undervalue ourselves and undercharge. And then we hear what others are charging. It's like, oh my God, I didn't know. So that's why it's really helpful to do it as a group with others who are also looking to implement this model. So we'll do that together at the retreat. And these are some of the specific outcomes you'll receive. You're going to create your offer, including pricing, receive training on leading and delivering your program, gain clarity on your ideal market, develop your marketing plan, identify and release money blocks, overcome mindset blocks, learn how to set stronger boundaries, and you're going to create a 90-day implementation plan for personal and business development following the retreat. Couple more testimonials from people who have been to my Abundance Breakthrough Retreat. Kay says, Julie knows how to get to the heart of what's getting in your way using deep intuitive guidance. She has helped me tell my clients the truth about how they bring their magic and must do the work to see their results. Julie's approach is fun, direct, and a no-bull style that brings intuitive coaching to a whole new level. Since participating in her Abundance Breakthrough Retreat earlier last year, my business income increased by 67%. And then we have Shay Perna. She says, when I first met Julie, I just knew she was meant to guide me on this journey towards more abundance, more success, more love, and more growth. Julie is here to hold space for you, guide you, call you out, celebrate with you, and witness you. She is open and honest, genuinely cares, and wants the best for you, and isn't afraid to be vulnerable and heal right alongside you. And then we have Crystal McGowan. The sense of freedom that I feel after working with Julie is incredible. She is truly a light of wisdom, love, and transformation for everyone she comes into contact with. I am beyond blessed to be on the receiving end of her love and guidance. Thank you for sharing your gifts. Okay, so what's included in my retreat? Intuitive guidance from me, and I do this individually and for the whole group. So that's $1,100 value. My money intensive program is a bonus online program that will help you work through money blocks, anything from the past around what you're capable of bringing in. That's a $499 value. I have a workbook with lots of resources to help you with open up to your next level of success. That's a $299 value. And then my Abundance Breakthrough Retreat is valued at $2,997. So the program value is $4,895. And the special offer is that the cost today will be $2,497 if you know that you're a yes and you submit a refundable deposit. So the deposit is refundable because we get on the phone together and make sure it's a good fit for you. And if it's not, then I'll return the deposit. If it is, then you would pay the balance due from the $2,497 minus $500. So if you feel the call and you feel like this is something you really want to implement for your business, you have been thinking about hosting a retreat, or maybe you've already hosted one and you had no program or no offer afterwards, then this is something that you can take advantage of the discount for today. And I'm going to put the link in the chat here. And so for the first 3 people who submit their refundable deposit, whether you're watching this live or you watch it back on the replay, the first 3 people who submit their deposit are going to get a bonus one-on-one business coaching session with me, valued at $333. So we'll work together and start talking about it now. Like start brainstorming it. We can talk as early as 2 weeks from now. Next week I'm moving. But 2 weeks from now we can talk and sit down and we can start brainstorming together. And that's a bonus for the first 3 people who sign up after I launch this workshop. So I'm going to put a link in the chat here. Let's go ahead and do that. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're going to do the live Q&A in just a minute. Okay, so that link is in the chat now. That is for the retreat deposit. It's a $500 deposit, and it is refundable if it's, for whatever reason, you're not a match or it's just not a fit at this time. Um, Are there options that aren't in person if we don't have the time? Yes, I will explain that next, Jessica. Thank you for asking that. Okay, get back to this. All right, let me share my screen again so you can see. So Jessica was asking about non-in-person options. So I'm going to share that next. Okay, so the in-person options are January 5th through 7th, 2023 in Washington, D.C., or April 6th to 8th, 2023 in Washington, D.C. So these are the two retreats that are set for next year, 2023. And if you prefer to get started right away and to do the work with me one-on-one, then I do have something called a VIP coaching days. And this can be in person or virtual. It's a 4-hour experience, and we map out your whole entire program. It's very ambitious, and people love it. I love it. I'm also, I believe that you complete the work in the time given. So if you have a shorter amount of time and you're super focused, you can absolutely get it all done. And I just did this 2 weeks ago. I had one, and it was incredible. We had so much fun. If you do it in person, I do treat you to a meal, and I also do headshots for you. And we just sit down and just get it all done. We map out your entire program. If you want to do that virtual, that is an option too, and we give an hour break for lunch. So usually they're about like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern with an hour break for lunch. I am flexible with timing. So if that is something that interests you, then you'll want to book a call with me, and we'll talk more about that in detail. And that there's no link for a deposit for that, because we want to make sure that's a really good fit. So we'll just talk together over the phone. And if that is, then we choose your date. I do 2 of these per month, and I've already booked one for November. So if it's something you want to do, there is one spot for November. And if you're watching this later, I do 2 per month. So they are limited, and they are very popular because people like to get a lot done in a short amount of time. And some people don't have the flexibility to travel, like if you have little kids. So I'm going to put a link in the chat to book a call with me. If that is something that you'd like to learn more about, the VIP coaching day. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so the link is there if you want to learn more about the VIP coaching day or the retreat. If you have questions, you want to make sure it's a good fit, you're welcome to book a call with me. It is a free call, and then we can talk more about it for your business. Okay. Okay, and the free gift is the breakthrough call with me. So the link is in the chat for that. And I have a limited amount of space for these free calls. But if you're here watching live or on the replay, there's no cost for this call. So you're welcome to book that. All right, and now we are open for the Q&A. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, any other questions that you have, and I'm happy to answer any question that you have.